Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And that's right, folks. I'm this over the course of this past weekend, I attended Animate Columbus, a convention of a consortium of animation legends, voice actors and artists alike. So so I'm here to talk about my experience, and Dragon here will be the moderator for this adventure. Kind of like like I'm hosting a panel, like I'm at a panel, right, Dragon?
Pretty much.
Yep. All right. So with that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we?
All right, folks. Yes, as Jacob has kindly established, somebody went to a little con recently, and we all have questions. So, first off, Jacob, so Animate Columbus, what the heck is it?
Well, Animate Columbus is this thing. Is this? It's a convention operated by GalaxyCon, which has like hosts different conventions all throughout the United States.
Mhm.
Specific this one specific while GalaxyCon is general entertainment, is like, and it could have like voice actors and things like that. It's more like general entertainment, like things like Star Trek, movies, wrestling. Even a couple years ago, there was even Pete Rose, a baseball star, there too.
General pop culture, one could say.
Yeah, where Animate is more geared towards like it's there's like animation, anime, like even like some web creation, even some like indie stuff. Like there, this year's huge big draw has been Hotel and Hell of a Boss, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. That kind of thing.
How did you get wind of it?
Well, a couple of years, well, the whole
Because we've
Galaxy.
established you've done GalaxyCon, so that's why I was a little shocked to hear like you went to Animate of all things.
Well, GalaxyCon. I was like, well, again, a couple of years ago, I first heard of it through GalaxyCon.
Mm-hmm.
There was a convention happening, basically right down the street from where I was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was like 2022, and I noticed a few people there that I wanted to see. It was like basically a whim. I had nothing to do that day. I was like, okay, I'll go check this out. I had some things to sign. Like the first person I ever met at a panel was Monica Rial, funnily enough. you know,
Yep,
currently known as the voice of Bulma.
the new Bulma.
Yep, I didn't have her. I didn't have her sign my Bulma anything Bulma related, but next time I see her, I do plan to have her sign a Bulma thing.
Okay.
But so Monica Real happens to be my first ever con visit, and like in 2023, I noticed that GalaxyCon was coming there again, but with this thing called Animate Columbus, which is another thing that they have. Like as I mentioned, is more geared towards like animation. Like with at least the guests and panels are more geared towards that. I mean, that's where I met the new voices of Phineas and Ferb there.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I am again. I've tried to go consistently. I didn't go to the GalaxyCon in the most recent one in December. I really wanted to meet Weird Al Yankovic, but he is coming again this year, so I'm planning on going to this one just to meet him again. Have the chance to meet him.
Of course, when you see him, you're going to say, "Weird seeing you here."
I'm sure he probably hears that a lot, but yes. I don't know.
All right.
I'm sure he's heard that one before.
Well, also, like, wait, didn't you die at the Oscars?
Yep. What I will say is, like, you look really good for being a zombie.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Or
but
like, wait a minute, are you Paul Rudd?
aren't you Daniel Radcliffe?
Like, who's going to sign my Harry Potter memorabilia now?
Like, I wonder if anybody's ever gotten Weird Al to try and sign some Harry Potter stuff because of that.
Well, here's the real question, Weird Al. Here's the thing you should actually ask him.
Yeah.
You should ask him, "Hey Al," because you're friendly with him. Al. Well, it's either that or just call him Weird, which I don't think he's going to respond well to. But you ask him, like, "Hey, Al, how often do people get you to sign the actual the actual songs or albums that versus like the parodies, like the actual like Beat It, and he would probably like sing Eat It on it or something like that kind of thing.
That would be kind of a funny question to ask him.
Like, do people historically brought you the actual the original source music for you to sign?
That would be a funny question to ask him, actually.
There you go.
It's like, so yeah, long story again. Recap. Long story short, when there was a convention happening literally right down the street from where I live, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out.
All right. How many days did it go on for, and how many days did you attend?
It's like, well, usually these things go on for 3 days. For the 3 days, usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
True.
The first one, the one I went to was just the one day. I think it was a Saturday that I had off. It was either a Friday. I don't know if it was a Friday or a Saturday, but I only went one day. It's like most of these times, I usually try and go all 3 days. I've tried to get all 3 days if I can. Usually it's like a 1 or 2 day thing. However, this year I did go all 3. For 2025, I decided I'm going to go all 3 days.
You were VIP, weren't you?
Yeah, not this year. I've never done VIP. I was deluxe.
Deluxe.
Yeah, deluxe. Well, it's basically the step below VIP.
Well, tell them what deluxe comes with.
Well, it basically comes with a free, like a kind of like those like bags that they hand you at conventions to like hold all your stuff in and all that.
Yeah.
I got one of those. It came with like a D20 die and a folder to like carry around any autographs you get.
Very nice. So with the folder, like is it kind of like a hard is it a hard plastic or is it a folder with like a logo on or something?
It's basically it has more than a logo. It does have like a design, kind of like the same. I believe it's like the same design as the bag that they gave you. Maybe because they actually like the cool thing is like they actually have like bags designed by I think local artists and things like that on there. But and it's like a standard like school it's like a folder you'd get for school and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But with the designs the designs and stuff on it.
I see.
And you also the other thing that you get, it's not part of the bag, but another thing you get is like a lanyard that you have to a lanyard with the badge that you have. Denoting like VIP, like either VIP, deluxe, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're duly deputized because of money.
Yep, basically pretty much. Basically, what the VIP would have done is allowed me like they have these things called like they have fast lanes. Basically, instead of waiting in like the long snake winding line, you can cut through, kind of. Considering I was only originally there for like 5 or 6 people, I didn't really think it'd be worth it to do all that. And it turns out I was right because I got through pretty much everyone I wanted to see very quickly.
You struck it right.
Oh yeah.
Was it any particular day you struck it right, or would you strike it right all 3 days?
Well, basically, majority of the people I wanted to see, I actually did get to see on Friday. On the Friday I was there, one of the people was coming in on Saturday, on Saturday through Sunday, but I didn't get to him that day.
Yeah.
But I did eventually get to him on Sunday, and that was the only person I saw that day, so it all worked out.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
All right. Okay. So, any preparations you want to tease us with for getting ready for the convention?
You mean like what I did to get ready?
Well, yeah, Jacob. Yeah, prep. What did you do to prepare for the convention?
Well, what I did was like I actually for Christmas kind of I got a new digital camera.
Mm-hmm.
So because I wanted to instead of having to fish from my phone every single time, and wanting to get higher quality pictures, I got an actual digital camera. From another thing I did, battery pack.
Good man.
A battery pack and cord. I mean, these are things I had before the con, but I took them with me. But a battery pack that I could charge both my phone and my camera, because the camera does have a USB port I can use to plug it. So I did that. And also a collapsible stool.
Oh, get out of here! You had the collapsible stool.
Yep. Fortunately, I didn't really need to use it that much, but I took it with me just to be safe.
Now, what was this like? This is like a little like a kind of a backpack kind of a thing, or was it like literally just like the plastic, like collapsible stool you can carry around?
It's basically like those circular collapsible stools, like
Okay.
like the plastic stool that can expand and collapse.
Right, but it's not like canvas though. It's so it's not like a clothy kind of thing.
No, not
Okay.
it's not like a camping chair or anything like that.
That's what I meant. Like, is on like okay.
I don't even know if they allow those.
What? I don't know.
I mean, I think it might be like a gray area kind of thing. And I didn't want to take any chances.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
but it was.
I'm impressed with the stool. I'll give you that. I'm impressed with the stool.
I mean, like I said, because I told you how I found out about that, right? I thought I did. I think I did.
No, I think you did. I'm trying to remember the specifics. Like, who told you about the stool?
Well, I'll refresh your memory. You remember because remember a couple of years ago when I went for one of the conventions in December when I went to see Peter Cullen. Like I got up there early. Like as basically before the doors even opened, because one of the people I think let me in before everyone else was supposed to be in there. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
or like what happened was like I got there early. There were other people there. I was waiting in line. I was like feeling, I was early. I was feeling good about it, and then it was cash only.
Oh,
I didn't have any cash, and so I had to get out of line. And when I returned, there was this huge line back, and I had to wait. I had to wait several more hours to get up close to him again. But while I was there, I saw somebody with one of those collapsible stools, and I was like, "That's genius." So yeah, I made sure to get one in preparation for the next con I visited.
Okay, so you're locked, you're loaded, you're more prepared than you were in the past. So you got 3 days ahead of you. So let's break down Friday. So how like give me the timeline on Friday. What's what's the first thing you do when you enter the door?
Well, the first thing is I got my bearings. The way I entered was like near like the big game, like the gaming area and all that. Like there was it was like a gaming area / kind of shopping area.
Uh-huh.
Not near Artist Alley as they call it, but there were like some kind of knickknacks, posters here and there, things like that. And I made it on my way, because the first day is always shorter because Friday they open at 2, the other days they open at 10. So Friday is usually the short day, but there's also not as many people there, so that's usually a good day. It's usually the first day of the con is usually a good day to get to some of the people you really want to see if they're there that day.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is I made a beeline to Bill Farmer.
Nice.
Yep, Bill Farmer was my first stop as he was at a previous convention. And like in the center, you can see me with him.
Yes. Well, kind of right under the Animate Columbus. Yeah, that's there
Yeah.
he is.
Yep. Let's just say he has a very good collection of Goofy movie shirts.
Yeah. So is he wearing? Looks like he's wearing Powerline there. Is that right, or is he? What was he wearing?
Yeah, that is like the Powerline shirt. It's like it's from this.
Is it Roosevelt's?
Yes, it's Roosevelt's.
Yep, I'm a big fan of Roosevelt, so I thought that's what he was wearing.
I mean, this is on the. Keep in mind, he told me this on the third day when I asked him where he got all the shirts, not the first day, because basically I interacted with Bill Farmer for all 3 days, basically. He even told me that they basically send him free shirts.
Like, really? Roosevelt sends him free shirts?
And that's what he said. Like, basically, they kind of treat him as like a promotional tool kind of thing.
That is amazing.
He's like, yeah, I get free. He's like, basically, yeah, I get free shirts and they get promotions.
That's great. That's amazing. That's how they should do it.
Yep. I mean, have the guy himself wear it. Yeah, that's. And I had him last time I saw him. I had him sign a mug I got from Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, where Goofy was driving the train. But in front of me that year, I saw somebody with the map from a Goofy movie. And I decided next time I see Bill Farmer, I want to have that map signed.
Mm-hmm.
And I can thank Dragon here for sending me the link to the map. So thank you again, Dragon, for that.
Yep.
So I was able to get him to sign it. And when he saw it, you know what he said? He's like, the map.
Now, when he said it, though, was the atmosphere moody? Was it lit by kind of an intense little glove box light when he said that?
Nope, he said it. He said it with the usual jovial, goofy
The
voice.
map.
Like he was happy, like the map.
Yeah.
Bill Farmer's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, otherwise he's tremendously miscast.
But he's like a real class act. I unfortunately didn't actually talk to him that much the first day. I mean, that was more like the.
But you did have other encounters with Bill Farmer, is that right?
Basically, I had all 3 days I interacted with Bill Farmer.
Okay. So, all right. All right, let's see. So, Bill Farmer is your, because obviously, one of the big reasons I'm sure you seeing Bill Farmer is, this year, 30th anniversary Goofy movie. Was there a lot of people in line for Bill Farmer?
Well, not when I was there, sadly enough, because I was pretty early. There were others in line, and someone in front of me had a Goofy shirt on. But Dragon, I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I probably mentioned this, but speaking of like the whole merchandise thing, I mentioned the story about the map just now.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in front of me had a Goofy movie record.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, I need this merch. Because it was a sweet looking Goofy movie vinyl. I don't know if it was like vintage or like a reprint, but it was still cool.
It was a modern thing. They didn't put out a Goofy movie vinyl back in the day. Trust me.
Then it was like a reprint, obviously, or not a reprint, but
I mean, they're doing them now. It's like a retro thing. Like they put them out just to basically like as if if only we had these back when vinyl was big.
Yeah. So yeah, the person in front of me had the vinyl, and I was like, dang, I want that. I don't even have a record player, but I want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bill was my first stop for the day.
How many people did you see on day one?
I basically saw quite almost like everyone. Like I saw like 5 or so people that day.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, did you hit all of your biggies on day one, or most of your biggies on day one?
I saw majority of them. Like there was only one that I didn't get to see, and that was only because he came in on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, so we'll build to him, but let's talk stop numero dos. What did you do after Farmer?
Like keep in mind I don't remember the exact order I saw that I went to these.
Oh yeah, and just let's break down kind of like like the biggies on day one. So even if it's not an exact order, just who did you remember going to next at least?
Well, across from Bill Farmer was one of the people that Dragon I know is going to be insanely jealous of.
Oh, great. Did you just hit this person second just to spite me? Just like, well, I did what I wanted to do. Now let's do what he wanted to do.
Well, I wanted to see her too, Dragon.
Yeah.
Like, right across.
Yeah, me need to see her second, though. That's the thing. It's like on day one.
Dragon, she was right there.
Yeah. Yeah, you were in spitting distance. Just great.
I mean, I literally was. She was literally right across the tables from Bill.
All right, tell the folks who you were able to see.
Grey Delisle.
Yep, he's living my dream.
Yep, I got to meet the one and only Grey Delisle.
Yep.
And I, of course, as you can see, got her to sign the famous picture surrounded by all her characters. I even got the quote saying like, "Jeepers, how about lightning?" Combining Daphne and Azula.
So that's how she kind of wrote like a little quote along there like that.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And, like she was also extremely nice. Like she's the one who initiated a hug and everything.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yep. It's like I even told her like
Is
One
she
of the,
doing the lightning pose in that photo? Is that what the two fingers are? Or is it just like, what is that? Is it kind of a
yeah,
piece?
yeah, I think that's supposed to be the lightning fingers.
Okay, so what did you talk about with her?
I told her that she was like one of the first people I actively recognized when it came to voice acting.
Yeah,
It's like, and she really appreciated that. She really kind of appreciated that.
nice.
Like I was talking about how I was like watching how I could watch. I was watching like Billy and Mandy on one. Then I'd go and watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
Now, did you do any of the voices while you were there?
Of
Like
course she.
when you were let me ask this: when you brought up the things that you like, did she do a little bit from the shows
Yes.
for each one?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like,
Oh yeah,
but maybe she did the voices, not necessarily. Not all of them were quotes. Like just like talking about how like how Zula was basically like a creepier Mandy almost, kind of like, or and she even said like she even like when I was trying to figure out a quote, she said one of the quotes from Azula. He's like mother called me a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt. But so yeah, so she did all of those voices. She did all that.
yeah.
So yeah, like I said, and of course, like I said, it is true though that she was like one of the first named voice actors that I actually recognized,
Yep.
and it was
As you should. I mean, she is in my book. She's the voice actress. You know,
she's legendary.
without question. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she was like I said extremely nice. Like she was always happy to see us and all that. I mean it's obviously trying to be nice to everybody and coming to see her, but still
Yeah.
she was like she was like definitely another bucket list one for me.
Yep.
And I remember your reaction when I first told you that she was coming to this.
Yeah.
You were I don't know if you were happy for me or you were spiting my luck.
Well, yeah, it can be more than one thing, Jacob.
Yeah, you were happy that I got to meet her. And you were
Oh,
all,
look, I'm envious, but again, envious. So, I'm happy. Envious means happy for you, but also like, why can't it be me?
well, I mean, I mean, maybe check like one of the ones in Raleigh or Tennessee. Oh, yeah, I think there's one in like Tennessee or something. Maybe she'll go to one
Yeah.
of those.
Still not close.
I know, but literally right down the street from me.
Yeah. Good for all the. It's all coming up Millhouse for the boy.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, who else did you see?
Like, well, around this time, I actually did see.
Oh, wait. Actually, wait. Follow-up question on the Lyles.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the iconic photo signed with her and all the characters, right?
Yep.
What other 8x10s were on the table?
Well, most of them are like character like other characters she's done. Like one of them was like a cross art with like Daphne and Azula.
So there was a photo with Daphne and Azula on it.
It was like a split image kind of thing.
Okay.
Like there was like one of like May, Tylee, and Azula in their swimsuits.
Nice.
I can't remember all of the exact ones. I mean, a lot of them were like I think there was like a solo Azula. I think there might have been like a solo Vicky.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah,
Major Dr. Ghastly, did she make the cut?
I didn't notice her. I wasn't really paying attention because I just wanted the one with all the characters on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to double check to see if if Major Dr. Ghastly's on the image that she signed. I have the booklet right next to me so I can check.
Okay, just for all of this in general, like, do you recall the pricing on at the convention by chance?
In total, she cost like 80, I think.
So that was for the combo?
Yes, and the quote.
Oh wait, so there was a charge for the quote.
Yes, like sometimes there is some actors, some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes they throw it in. That's what I was wondering. So as I'm saying, so it was 80 in addition to kind of a charge for the quote. So it might have been less had you not done the quote. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. All right.
I'm looking on here. I don't see Ghastly.
Oh well.
Like I see a lot of almost every other major character that she's done on here, just not Ghastly.
Well, I would have gone. Well, you picked the right 8x10. I would have gone for that one too. But just I mean, I'm sure Ghastly's on that image somewhere.
Probably, but I didn't see her.
Well, no, I mean like in the one that you're holding.
Yeah. While I was waiting in line for Gray, I saw the Mulan cosplay and the Hanako and cosplay right here, right under the map, as you can see.
Wait.
It's right on. It's right like.
Oh no! I see. So wait, who's Mulan next to?
I believe it's from like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I think that's who it is.
Ah,
it's an anime.
Right. Well, I would be very out of place if it wasn't an anime.
Like I said, I think that's who it's supposed to be. But the girl on the left is on the right is definitely Mulan.
I would just love to see Ming-Na Wen surrounded by an army of Mulans. I just think that'd be adorable. Because like there have been conventions where they've done like the whole like the gaggle of slave Leias, and with the usually like the Star Wars celebration. So it'd be great to just have like just kind of Ming-Na Wen who's greeted by like a full-on army of Mulans.
Like what if half of them are like Mulans and half of them are Pings?
That's what I'm saying. Like Mulans and Pings, and like all the different variations of the Mulan outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I believe I don't know if it was like while I was waiting for Bill or if it was, I actually might have been with one of the other guests, but I'll bring that one up later.
By the way,
what?
I was going to throw this out there. Ming-Na Wen had an interview recently on Inside of You. It was really good, really informative.
All right.
Okay. All right, so you got a Mulan cosplay. Well, basically, you have some cosplayers looking good. So I take it, you got some photos of some really cool cosplays all throughout the day, based on our presentation here.
Yep, some pretty interesting ones, as you can see.
Right.
I think I'll bring up some of them.
Yeah.
Because that was mostly on like Saturday and Sunday when I got most of the cosplayers.
Now, all 3 days you wearing Perry the Platypus, you get 3 different shirts.
No, it's the same shirt, but I did make sure to put on deodorant each time.
I would hope so. I mean, otherwise, poor Grace Lyle, she's going to be wanting to end her life. But
I don't smell that bad, Dragon.
No, I'm just anyway.
But the second day, I did decide to. But while I was walking around, I did decide to get a fedora for the second day. And the second.
So you bought a fedora?
Like I ordered a costume fedora off of Amazon.
Oh.
The funny thing is, like, I'm jumping ahead to the third day a little bit, but one of the vendors there, he's like, where did you get that hat? It looks just like the one Perry the Platypus wears. And I was like, it's just a cheap costume hat off of Amazon. And the funny thing is, there were actually quite a few people at the convention that went along with the hat bit. Like I took off that platypus, I put it back on Perry the Platypus. It's like what was great is that like even like some little kids. So like younger kids came like, I love you. I like your Perry, which like you see all these people with all these like intricate costumes that look like they walked out of like the show or movie or game that they're wearing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just wearing a platypus shirt and I still get Perry the Platypus shirt and I still get comments on it.
Well, it's probably because of the hat.
Well, I mean, I got comments even before the hat.
Okay. Well,
but the hat kind of added to it.
Plus, I mean, this is the year of the platypus, man. I mean, this is the it's the big return year.
Oh yeah.
Plus, I mean, like by the time you did this is like literally the show has come back, so it's on people's minds.
Yeah, so it was kind of a prudent time, and like I'll get to it. But even some of the actors and panelists actually commented on it when I came up to talk.
Yeah, because you're wearing the Perry shirt all 3 days. Of course, they're gonna remember you.
Yep.
Plus, I mean, did you see anyone else wearing the Perry Platypus shirt?
Not the shirt, but as you can see right up
here. Yeah, no, I got that. We'll get to that guy.
Yeah, that was the third day. I'll explain that in a bit.
Well, I would say, though, in general, though, you're like probably the only guy in the convention wearing that shirt, especially like, oh, wait, it's that guy. Jacob, you became that guy from the Monsters from the Monsters Laugh Floor attraction.
Yep, I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
Yep, I'm that guy.
Yep. Could be worse. You could be that guy.
And I was that guy.
Yep.
All right. So
right. What else?
So I know that explicitly after Greg Delisle, I went 2 tables down to Greg Baldwin.
You're just hitting all the Avatar talent day one, aren't you?
Yep. The thing is I didn't go to the other person there that day, but I did. Okay. I did do it. I did do it that day, just not at that time.
No.
But if that makes sense. But I didn't get a selfie with Greg Baldwin, but he wasn't busy, so I actually did have a bit of a conversation with him.
All right.
Like, as you can see, he did sign the art like a fan art of him and of Iroh and Aku having tea.
So this is one of the 8x10s he had on his table. You got a fan art of Aku and.
I think it's more like an 11x17.
Well, look, yes, an 11x17 of Aku and Iroh. You know, this is on the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. To those who can't, I know it's hard to read, so it's like sharing tea with a fascinating demon is one of life's true delights. And Aku's like, sharing tea with you sucks. Blah ha ha. It's like so the thing, it's like I didn't have like a long conversation with him, but I did have almost like a meaningful one with him.
Yeah.
In a way, like I asked him about the story that I heard, as I heard about him, recording for Samurai Jack and have Mako's daughter being there.
Oh.
Have you heard this story, Dragon?
No. Tell him the story, Jacob.
Well, he did tell the story of like initially how he did it, but that was like during a panel of how he got to it, which I'll probably explain later when we get to the actual panel. But after he had been cast, like Gendy brought Mako's daughter to the first recording, which made Greg Baldwin kind of nervous. Not only is it's not just simply replacing an actor, it's replacing a character. It's also her father kind of thing.
Yep.
And so again, Gendy invited her. I don't know if it was like a way to get her to see if she also approved of it and things or something like that. But after the first recording was done, his daughter got up and hugged Greg. Like she said, it was like hearing her father again.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he said that meant a lot to him. I mean, just seeing that just kind of like warmed my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like her.
So he recounted the story, or you asked him about the story?
He's like I asked him because I asked him about the story that I read about it. That like his daughter was at the recording studio. Was at the recording, and he told me about that, and like how Mako's daughter went up and hugged him. I went, because like she said, it was like hearing her father's voice again.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he spoke very highly and very positively of working with Gendy. Because as you do.
All right.
Basically reaffirming that we all know is that Gendy Tarkasi is an awesome person.
Well, yeah.
As if we needed a reminder.
Gendy's the man.
Gendy is the man, yes.
Gendy's the man in demand.
Oh yeah. If I remember correctly, the next person I saw was kind of an interesting one. Stephen J. Anderson, the director of Meet the Robinsons and 2011's Winnie the Pooh.
It was also the voice of
Bowler hat guy.
Yeah. So who is he? Did he make the image?
Did he make what do you mean make the image?
This image is he the guy in the bottom left?
Oh yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy with the hat.
Okay, so that is him. All right. It's a shame he's not wearing an actual bowler hat.
Yeah, but he is wearing like a Robinson's Industries shirt.
Nice.
I know it's hard to tell with the image the way it is, but his shirt did say Robinson Industries on it.
Huh?
And the sad thing is, he wasn't very busy the days I was there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's kind of it's a pro and a con, Jacob. Well, at a con. Pro being, of course, it works out wonderfully for you, and it doesn't mean the guy's not going to be crowded, but it's the sad fact of the matter is the directors don't get the buzz the actors do. So the creatives, like for example, I've met Dave Bullock. He was an animation director, an artist, and he was great. Did not have a line, but again, wonderful to talk to, and just a fount of information, as I'm sure you found with this guy.
Oh yeah, I was actually able to talk for quite a few minutes with him. He shared quite a few insights. Like he actually left Disney for a while. It's kind of like for a break, but he did recently return. And I did even ask you, Dragon, do you have any any concerns about meeting Stephen J. Anderson?
Concerns?
I mean, do you have any questions about what that was like?
Well, I mean, did he? Did he mention anything about Bowler Hat Guy? Did he, say why he left Disney for a bit? Did he?
He basically said for this. I brought up Don Hall, who co-directed Meet the Robinsons with him.
Mm-hmm.
Basically at the time they basically needed a break.
Yeah.
He needed take a bit of a break. But he did. There was no he didn't. At least he didn't mention any other specific reason for it. And I also asked him what it was like working with John Lasseter.
Ooh.
He said that he and John they weren't really friends, but he didn't. But he did like working with him.
Right.
Their personalities didn't really mesh too well. Not that they he didn't mention that they clashed or anything like that. And he did commend John for the work he's done with animation and all that. Did a lot for Disney, Pixar, and animation in general.
Okay.
So he did commend John on that. I decided not to ask anything else regarding John for obvious reasons.
All right.
Because either he wouldn't know or he wouldn't want to divulge or wouldn't be able to divulge.
All right.
And you can understand where I'm coming
from.
Right?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
And I even asked him what was it like to have the new Walt Disney Animation Studios logo to debut on his debut movie. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sorry, one more time?
I even asked what it was like to have the new Walt Disney Animation Studios debut on Meet the Robinsons. Because the Steamboat Willie flip book logo, it first premiered on Meet the Robinsons.
Yep, that's true.
And he actually said it was quite cool to have that be the first one.
Did you ask what it was like to, kind of be, I want to say, Meet the Robinsons got cheesed out of the Wish end credits.
I didn't bring that up, mainly because I didn't know. But yeah, I didn't bring that up, unfortunately. And he actually has a book out.
Oh.
I think it's Disney in Between. I think that's what its name is. It's talking about the dark years between Walt Disney's death and the Eisner era.
Oh.
Like the in between era there.
So it's called the in between era.
Generally the actual era is referred to as the Dark Age, Disney's the Dark Era or something like that. But the book is called Disney in Between. I think that's what it's called.
Disney in Between. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't think it's endorsed by Disney or anything like that, but
I highly doubt that.
And I'll bring this up during he did have a panel the next day, which I'll get to some more details on that. But he did actually mention that he had hit that when I asked him if he ever met any of the 9 Old Men. And he says he actually has a signed copy of The Illusion of Life by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston.
Nice.
And I was like, now that's a collector's item. All right. The next thing I did, though, was a panel of Avatar, the Last Airbender panel.
You learned a little something, didn't you?
Yep, and I think we both did.
Yes. Tell the folks what you learned.
Well, when I was initially telling Dragon this cast, telling the people that would be showing up, I mentioned some of the people, including a woman named Michaela Jill Murphy, who was listed as voicing Toph. We were both confused by that. It's no, it's Jessie Flower. But it turns out, as we learned the day of, I looked it up. Jessie Flower's her stage name. Her real name is Michaela Jill Murphy. So yeah. So I felt kind of embarrassed about that. What was neat about her, though, is that Michaela Jill Murphy was actually representing an Earth Kingdom jersey. So yeah. And the thing is, I actually did manage to get up there and ask a question to the people that were there, Michaela, Gray, and Greg. And I asked them what the hardest episode was for them to record for any reason.
What did they say?
It's well, Michaela's one was actually kind of funny. She said it was the Melon Lord episode. like because like mainly because she was like dizzy like laryngitis or bronchitis that day, and they saved her like I am the Melon Lord for the end of the recording.
Wahaha!
Yeah, basically that. They saved that for the end, and then basically after like doing two takes of that, her voice completely gave out. So for that reason, that was the hardest for her to record. For Greg Lyle, though, like she said, the hardest was like the final episode, specifically the Agni Kai section.
Ooh.
Like because of like all the trauma Azula goes through and like having to like reach deep down and all that.
Now you just said for the whole show, right? You didn't just say like the finale.
Basically, yeah. Like
I'm saying it's interesting so far. Like it seems like like the finale was kind of like that was like the biggest. They really put the oomph into that one.
Yeah. Because that was the hardest for Greg, and Greg, he said that the hardest one for him was actually his first one. Because it's like they already had an established crew going, like he was filling in for a character.
It was the Avatar and the Fire Lord episode.
Yes. Like that was the first one he had to. That was the first one he had to. He didn't specifically mention it by name, but like the first episode he had to record for was the hardest because this already established dynamic. He's the new guy because believe it or not, that was like I believe that was his first voice acting gig because before that he was an accountant for Disney basically.
Really?
Yeah, it's like apparently like from what I understand, like he worked. If I don't remember the exact job, but he worked in accounting for Disney. And for a while, he had done impressions of Mako because he was a big fan of the play, the Stephen Sondheim play that Mako was in. And what happened was that like he auditioned, but one day Disney laid him off. And just a few, he's like wondering, what am I going to do? Like he and his wife had children and all that. And just hours later. Call saying like Nickelodeon wants you to play Iroh, and the rest is history. And what I mentioned, and another story I mentioned, like he did talk about how he got to voice Aku as well, because then they had announced the season 5 of Samurai Jack, and people asked him, "Are you going to play Aku?" He's like, I don't know. Until he got a call one day, it was like saying like they want you to audition. They'll pay you for the audition. They just want you to come in and see. So he came in. He did the audition. He was like he was completely unsure what was going to happen. And Gendy, of course, and he said like it was one of the nicest things that ever happened to him. I was like Gendy said like we'll see you again. Basically saying like he got the part.
Nice.
Yeah. But
so it was a good panel.
It was a very good panel. The actual panel is actually going to be uploaded to the GalaxyCon YouTube channel soon.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember some of the other funny other things that were asked there. But those were like the big things I took away from it.
All right.
And of course I like say like they're. But actually, I just remembered there is like one funny story, like how they got these parts. I think that was how where the whole story with Greg being an accountant and then getting the job for Iris. But Michaela had a kind of different story because how originally she voiced a character in season 1 like Meg.
Yep. She was. Yep.
Like basically, she pointed out that all of her characters have beef with Katara.
Oh yeah. Floozy.
Yep. And so it's like so they kind of wanted to work with her again. And Toph was originally kind of imagined as like a guy, kind of like a Bolin kind of character,
Yeah.
And they just like what if she was a girl and they wanted Michaela to do it? The funny thing is she was only like 15 when this thing was happening. And so like they called her in to do the audition, and she was like she was in Indiana, so they had to drive. So she and her grandma had to drive to like this music recording studio to even do the audition. And she was like, reading for the first episode of The Blind Bandit. And her grandma asked, who's reading for the Boulder? Like, no one, I'm just reading for Toph. And her grandma was like, I'll read for the Boulder for you. So literally the audition.
You know, it's funny when you told me this before.
Yeah.
I remembered. I think she mentioned this on one of the commentaries.
Yep. So somewhere out there in the ether is the recording of her audition and her grandma voicing the boulder.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, as you can see, the artwork that it's like a poster advertising the fight between Toph and Boulder. And the funny thing is, she even drew like an arrow poem saying "Pebble."
Yeah.
She was a lot of fun. And the funny thing is, another one takeaway from that panel is Greg a lot of time about like how she didn't actually watch it until like many years later with her son. And she's like, I see why people love this show now. Yeah. There's a lot of fun anecdotes in there. But like I said, those are the big takeaways that I can recall.
Okay, so did you do anything after the panel?
I didn't do much that day. I pretty much seen everyone by that point. I said, actually, as I mentioned, I did go see Michaela after the panel.
Oh.
So there was that. Then I pretty much walked around, did some shopping that day.
Did you buy anything cool?
Like mainly all my shopping was done on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, well, okay. Is there anything else on Friday we should hit, or should we just go to Saturday?
One more costume that I want to discuss.
Okay.
It was actually one that came up during my wait in line with Stephen J. Anderson.
Wait, I thought you said Stephen J. Anderson didn't have a line.
It's like, well, while I was talking to Stephen J. Anderson, I mean.
Okay.
Do you see the costume in the upper right-hand corner?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
American Dragon Jake Long.
It's a crocheted costume of American Dragon Jake Long.
Crocheted?
It's crocheted.
That's amazing.
That's what I said.
So there's somebody in that costume, and it's completely, as in, when you walked up to it, it was completely crocheted. Is it like knit one, purl two, crochet? Is that right?
From the looks of it, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It's kind of hard to tell.
How was the weather that day?
Pretty hot.
Man, that's commitment.
Yeah, like I said.
Was it a guy or a lady in the costume?
I have no idea. They didn't speak.
Oh, that's commitment.
Yep. I have no idea. I have no idea who was in the costume.
All right.
But I said it was like probably one of the coolest costumes in the entire convention.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's the hottest costume in the convention. Let's say that, but you know,
probably. Well, who knows? Maybe since it was crocheted, there's a lot of air holes in there.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But still, yeah, pretty dang cool.
Yep. Was there a tail?
Yes.
Good. All right.
I think it's kind of hard to tell in this angle, but it was there.
Well, there were wings, right?
Yes.
All right.
You can kind of faintly see it, like on the left side, like above his arm.
Here's my favorite detail with this Jake, with this American Dragon costume.
Yeah.
It's the one from the first season.
Oh yeah.
Which frankly is better.
Probably easier to walk around in than the elongated Jake.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, like, come on, the elongated Jake was nowhere near as cool as the first one.
Yeah, they probably wanted.
It was okay. I mean, I know they did a revamp. It's not wrong with the designs. The other one's so much cooler.
It is. I mean, even though it is kind of meant to be evoke more Chinese and all that.
I know. Yeah, look, there's a good logic to it. Like, live this way. It's less clearly defined as, like, you look at the new Batman Adventures revamp. There's a lot of clear, like, either stinkers or like, okay, this is an improvement. This one doesn't work. Jake Long is like, okay, this one makes sense. This one tracks. I don't like it as much as the other one, but at least I get it.
Yeah. See, season 2 did bring a lot of interesting changes.
Yeah.
The first season's theme song was definitely better, though.
Oh, without question.
Like I said, person didn't speak.
Also, had Mae Whitman in it. Well, she's in both seasons. I'm just saying she's in that show.
Yep.
And oddly enough, it's still a little Zutara going on there, just a little bit.
Speaking of which, like Gray was actually very surprised that at the end of the series wasn't Zutara.
She brought the Zutara thing.
Well, somebody asked.
Wow.
And the funny thing is when she was during the recording, I think she hears Jack DeSena talking about Sokka, talking about how he talking about how he's like a baby and all that. But one time when she was like at like a cast party or whatever, I think she sounds like who's the good looking guy over there? It's like that's Jack. She's like oh. There's more context to it in the actual panel.
Sure.
But it was kind of funny. She's like, who's the hottie? And it's like, that's Jack. He's like, oh,
that's Jackie boy.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the thing. Avatar and Korra especially, they were in kind of the almost the I guess the 2000s equivalent. It was kind of the benefit of its time in terms of like where shipping was like kind of on the rise and was
yeah.
And Avatar had it less. Avatar was really just two things. It was like no one really thought, oh my god, Zuko and Katara kind of have some chemistry going on there. And then of course Korra went off the charts with every which way, and like everyone has an opinion on everything. And it kind of that one went like the whole benefit kind of that whole thing.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like getting in the way of the enjoyment of not within the show itself, but you know what I mean. It's like the fan base went really off the hinges with Korra versus Avatar was like kind of like a fun thing the creators didn't see coming, which then they would become sick of. But it's just this thing of like
even though they kind of leaned into it for Korra.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just saying they leaned into it with Korra because of the unprecedented nature of what happened with Avatar. Is like, okay, well, we got to kind of their teens. There's going to be some drama, some romance, and then it kind of became like, oh boy, people really have opinions on what season 2 onward. Oh god, what have we done? What monster have we unleashed?
Yeah, the monster of fandom.
Yep. Okay.
Like, and as you can see with the image, Michaela's doing the whole blind thing in there. She's waving her eyes and waving her hand in front of her eyes.
If only you could have gotten her to say, "I'm blind, Matt Murdock," while she was doing that.
Now, the thing is, like, I think she mentioned that as like one of her favorite lines. Was like, "It's over there." That's what it'll sound like when you guys see it.
Good.
Yep. The funny thing is, I also got like a collectible tile from Greg from Greg's tables, like at like the demon claw, but also like the White Lotus tea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I gifted a buddy of mine like a Pai Sho tile.
Nice. Unfortunately, I didn't get him to say delectable tea or deadly poison. I know that was Mako said. I know Mako said that line, but still.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to hear him say it. But basically, that's pretty much all I did. All I did on day 1. That's the end of day 1.
All right. Day 2 it is. Saturday,
which everyone knows is probably the busiest day for a con.
of any convention, Jacob. Saturday is the day.
Which is why I like to get there the day before and get all the people I want to see before.
Yeah.
Except the one the people that show up on Saturday in the first place. So Saturday for me was really a panel day. Mostly because believe it or not, Dragon, there were 3 panels in a row in the same room that I went to.
Well, I mean, that's not out of the ordinary, Jacob.
I know, but it was just like, I was like, the thing that made it was like, it was kind of just entirely random. I was like, okay, I'd like to listen to this person, these people, and then that. But then I was like, wait, they're all. But then when I was checking the schedule, I was like, wait, these are all the same stage. So yeah. I just thought it was kind of funny that I didn't have to get up from my seat at all.
Hey, trust me, it could have been worse. You could have had like a panel on one floor, and then you have to go to the top floor for another one.
Yep. Fortunately, I didn't have to do that.
And plus, you weren't carrying anything heavy.
Yeah. I'm taking you're speaking from experience there.
Yeah.
Care to share that anecdote real quick?
Well, I mean, I carry a. Look, traditionally, I actually achieved it last year successfully, but I'm saying usually the way I've always worked under the. Well, for something we're going to be talking about, I've always kind of played kind of like Dragon Ball rules to an extent, kind of like the old turtle shell kind of method. You you go heavy on the first day, and then ideally you lighten things up as you go on, how much faster you'll be. So I bring all the stuff. Ideally, get it signed. So basically, the next days will be lighter. And for like the first time ever, like last year when I went to the convention, I was able to actually travel very light on like Sunday, which is never. I always failed miserably because it's always like either you forget something or you can't get something signed. So I bring like a roller bag full of comics and stuff that gets signed. And it's so again, it's a lot of stuff, and I got to guard that thing in my life, so I got to bring it with me everywhere. And the thing that really gets really bad is I have that, and I'm carrying the big plastic top loader, which is where I put like the posters and stuff and the autographs I buy.
You're one of those.
Well, what do you mean by one of those?
I've just always said what I mean is like I've been in the situation where people have like these cards and multiple tiers of things. And I've been stuck in like where they had like a single person sign like 10 items.
Well, no, it's not. I'm just saying it's a lot of people, Jay. It's not all for one guy. It's.
I know, but I'm just saying like one person had like 7 or so items for one person to sign.
Yeah, see, to me, that's. I mean, look for a okay. So for what you're doing, for a media con, that's for example, that's like what I do with the Monster Mania. Because the closest thing I have to what Animate or what GalaxyCon is. Basically, what you have is Shangri-La compared to what I have. I have because I luck out in that the people that I like kind of have dabbled in horror or are part of the horror lexicon, so there's a Venn diagram and they're across. It's a cross nexus into the space that I inhabit. Again, you're lucky that you have like everything under the sun. Animate is like Shangri-La. Everything I could ever dream of is there.
Yeah, I can tell.
So what I do, so that's very simple. That I'm just bringing like the top loader. Basically, it was what I didn't have the luxury of having a folder.
I was just giving you a hard time.
But that's the thing, though. So essentially that's in a perfect perfect world. You go to a celebrity thing. You get like an 8x10. Some people, I'm not, you're not somebody who's bringing like a bazillion things, but yeah, but the comic convention is something different because that's like a whole ball of wax because you have like you want to try and get like a couple comics signed from a run. They have like many different writers, that kind of thing. So it's like a full day and like a lot of people.
Yep. Makes sense.
Doesn't mean writers and creatives in terms of they've worked on a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to pick from and get signed. You go for variety, and
Of course, you got to diversify your portfolio.
Oh yeah, I mean, plus you got to remember now it's the Comic Cons. It's gotten bad because it's turned the '90s. Let me put it this way. So of course, in the '90s is when it was kind of like the equivalent to the stock market crash, specifically with Marvel, but just in general the medium. That's when you hit the collector's market. And the collector's market is what really kind of put a damper on everything because that was when you had people buying like 50 copies of Death of Superman, thinking it'll put their kids through college. That's what torpedoed everything. You had like around this time, you have Marvel putting out like all the Jim Lee X-Men covers and the hologram. It's the same comic, but it has like all these different varying covers, and one's holographic, one's not holographic. So people are buying variants upon variants, thinking it'll turn a profit, and because of that, it's like it was this printing crisis where everyone's buying comics. But then, of course, when they realize that's not going to put my kids through college, they stopped buying, and that's why Marvel went bankrupt in the '90s, and that's why Sony is owned by Spider-Man.
You mean Spider-Man's owned by Sony?
Sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, the film rights, anyway.
No, you're right. That's what I jumbled. Imagine if it were the other way. But no, yeah, you're right. That's.
Before I get to the whole panel thing, like I remember they offered like Sony their like entire catalog.
Mm-hmm. They offered the entire catalog. Oh, did you watch the thing?
Which thing?
The Icons on Earth thing on Spider-Man. Did you watch it?
Oh no,
Oh
I did.
man, you gotta watch that.
I just like heard this in like a completely separate factoid thing.
Yeah, well, they cover that, and they cover it really well.
But they thought that only Spider-Man would be worth it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess technically they weren't entirely wrong.
Seriously, Jake, man, that Icons on Earth, you hear it from the guy who actually had to pitch them on, like, hey guys, like the guy actually tried to sell them all the characters, and they turned him down.
Yeah, so I can only imagine what the landscape would be now if Sony had taken take them up on that offer.
Yeah. Anyway, so point being, it's gotten to a point where conventions now it's an equivalent to that where people get a lot of things signed to get graded and to resell. It's the eBay market thing where people are getting things signed purely to sell, and because of that, that's why people aren't getting comics signed for free because they're bringing like a bazillion comics to get signed, and again the whole
for me, there was a whole bunch of Funkos.
Well, Funkos is the other. That's kind of the physical item equivalent to the multiple comics. Like people very much are reselling the signed Funkos. I mean, very much so. Now, again, look, I don't want to toot my own horn here. I'm just saying that for my case, it's more of a it's a completionist thing for me. Just the idea that over time, I would like to get all the comics signed. Just because just to have the whole run signed by the people that made the thing, But I'm not going for like multiple copies of the same thing. Just like it's like achieving a goal of like getting it all signed,
Yep.
But of course, what complicates that is that there's book limits, and then like they're charging per books now because people again abuse this kind of idea.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then of course it always makes you feel really bad because we're at an era now where it's like because of the eBay thing, it's like, hey, would you like it personalized? And it's like, in my heart of hearts, absolutely, I would like this personalized. But then it's like the paranoia of like, I know the moment I get it personalized, I'm going to hear it from either my father's, hear it from anyone who like you show the thing to is like, oh, you shouldn't have got it personalized. Like, oh God, it's the thing of like, it's especially if you in your case, like with the autographs and the 8x10s or the 11x17s or what have you.
Well, it's a combination.
Yeah, that's the real kickers. Those are the ones you really want personalized. But again, it's like that hesitation of like, well, it's like everyone's like the adage is never get the autographs personalized with a name on there, but because it's like I don't have intent on selling anything, but I just don't want that nagging thing of like. Plus, I mean, I don't like myself too. That's the other thing too. I don't like I don't like my name. Period. I don't like any of that. So I don't want that I don't kind of want that besmirching my quality item.
Well, that makes sense. But as I don't have any of those like big collectors things that I have signed. So I was like and they're good memorabilia for when I have children of my own, that kind of thing. Like it's like hey, I met Goofy and here's proof.
Yep.
Hey, I met like the voice actress who's been in every single show ever.
Yep.
So it's like you see her right there. She voices those. I met her.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yep. So yeah. So today, the first basically 3 hours or so, actually closer to like 2.5, like probably closer to 2.5 hours, were panels all on the same stage. The first one was actually Steven Anderson. And you know what the really sad thing is? There were less than 10 people there.
See, Meet the Robinson's not getting the respect it deserves. That's what that is.
Yeah. I mean, on the plus side, I was able to get a couple more questions in. But
right.
But that was the sad thing. There was barely anyone there.
And the real crimes at the table specifically, it's that the way I've come to understand, and I could be wrong here, but at least at one point the way I understood is that I want to say when we have celebrities at conventions, the idea is that I guess the talent in general, but specifically like the media guest. I want to say they are invited and they're put up at I don't know if their airfare gets paid or not, but let's just say I want to say they get put up in a hotel wherever they're staying at, like that much, like that that's that and like table space or whatever, like they're comped to a degree, but then pretty much everything that they make at that convention, that's their take. Like they're not getting, I don't think they're getting paid specifically to be there, but they're like kind of being kind of like ingratiated to be there, and then
it's like a commission kind of thing.
essentially, yeah, it's kind of paid by, it's kind of almost like a being paid by commission kind of thing. Where pretty much what they make at that table is what they're making. I want to say that's how it works. Like it's kind of the thing of like, why would the celebrity charge? Well, that's why they charge, because that's what they're making. Period. There, like they're not being paid to be there. Like they are.
Because I've heard like a lot of these voice actors that make majority of their money from these conventions.
Exactly.
So
I'm pretty sure that's how it works, but I don't want to say it with autonomy. Like that's
But yeah, so yeah, Steven Anderson did share a lot of insights. Like something I personally didn't know that he shared was like my personal question was like, because Dragon, how sometimes like directors are like they're able to like choose the projects they work on and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Anderson wasn't actually given that, but he did actually mention, somebody actually did ask how he got involved with Disney in the first place. It's like for a while he was like a story artist at Hyperion Pictures. You've probably heard of that.
Oh yeah.
So like for a while, after a while, he's working on some projects there, and he got a call from two Hyperion buddies of his, Kevin Lima and Chris Buck.
Nice.
Yep. Who called us like, hey, you want to work on Tarzan with us? And he's like, yes.
Do I?
Yep, pretty much. So that's how he got involved with Disney, and he obviously wanted to direct. So it was like, and basically, according to him, they don't let anybody direct until they've like shown they can lead a department for at least one movie. So he like led stories for like Tarzan, Brother, like they like worked on Brother, like Emperor's. He worked on Emperor's New Groove. Actually, that was the first thing that was like one of the things I asked him at his table, was about what was it like working on Emperor's New Groove, kind of thing.
Yep.
It's like the first thing, and I was asking him like if he knew anything about It turns out he didn't do anything with Kingdom of the Sun. He joined when it became Groove. So he doesn't know much. So he didn't explain much about how Kingdom of the Sun worked. But he did say it was like a blast working on Emperor's New Groove, though. He said he enjoyed working on that. But it was like his work on that and like leading things on that and Brother Bear is what led him to opportunity to direct. And he was explaining how he was working on this movie called Three Pigs. I think it was based on a book. And he said that like the concept of that was like the big bad wolf like huffs and puffs so hard it blows the three little pigs into other stories. Said unfortunately that didn't get off the ground, but because he was given the script The Day with Wilbur Robinson. And he eventually did say, even though it was sad that the three pigs didn't get made, that Meet the Robinsons was the perfect fit for him. Because I didn't know this. Steven Anderson's actually adopted himself.
That I did know.
All right. See, I didn't.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know he was adopted.
Yeah. Well, again, I know it because of the Robinsons commentary. That's the only reason I know that.
Unfortunately, I've never listened to the commentary for that. I don't have it on DVD, and I don't know if it's on Disney Plus.
Well, the commentary's now on Disney Plus now.
All right, which is sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he revealed that, and he basically he explained that like at the premiere. At the premiere, he brought his adopted family to the premiere, as you do. Like it's his first big movie and all. It's his first movie as a director and all that.
Mm-hmm. So,
and he says watching the movie, his adopted mother was sobbing, and he was like, because he brought a lot of his own personal life into it. He said though it's sad to get for the pigs thing, and he did say he didn't get to choose Wilbur Robinson. It was the day of Meet the Robinsons. It was basically given to him, but it couldn't have been a better fit. And the thing is, Disney Pentagon didn't know he was adopted either. They didn't know he was adopted. They just gave it to him, and it just happened to work. And another person asked how he got involved with Bowler Hat Guy. You probably heard this story as well. I'm not sure.
Well, tell him for posterity, would you?
Yeah, it's like so. He was doing the scratch voice, and basically, they would fill it in with actors and later and all that. But the studio really liked what he was doing with the voice of Bowler Hat Guy. So basically, they asked him, "Would you like to do the voice for real?" And so he did. And the thing is, he actually has revealed of other characters he's done scratch voices for, which eventually did get replaced. And he's actually glad they did because they were a much better fit. I don't remember all the ones he mentioned that got replaced, but the big one was Pacha. He did the scratch voice for Pacha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He did the voice for Pacha, and who was eventually replaced by John Goodman. I do say, yeah, that's probably the right call.
Yeah.
I mean, because John Goodman was perfect as Pacha, basically, as he usually is. But he said he also voiced a couple background characters, like a background guard named Kai in Frozen 1 and 2, which he also worked as a story artist on. So Steven Anderson was actually a lot of fun to talk to. But the thing is, considering the limited panel, I actually did get a second question in. What was it like working on Winnie the Pooh with such iconic characters? Now, Dragon, do you know if Winnie the Pooh had a commentary?
You mean the 2011 one?
Yes.
Oh, to mine, I'm pretty sure it didn't.
Yeah. So yeah. So he talked about what was working with those characters. It was considering he didn't have to work with being able to work with established characters, they were basically able to get all that out of the way quickly. So it kind of saved production time there a little bit. But he also said that the characters were surprisingly hard to draw. Like especially Rabbit. He specifically cited Rabbit as being hard to draw. Because a lot of the structure of Rabbit's face. And even some characters, they even forgot to add the beard at one point. The little goatee that Rabbit has. They mentioned him being particularly hard. But he said it was actually quite cool working with such the iconic characters, and like I said, having already pre-established characters with all that history kind of sped along the process. And the fact that they had to they got to work in all the old animation desks, which they had also brought back for Princess and the Frog. He also did kind of state that it's kind of that Disney is currently not equipped to do 2D animation right now. Which he said is that which I pointed out was actually kind of sad. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Because they're an entirely digital studio now. And I was like, if I ever got in, I'd like to see 2D animation come back. And a lot of people actually agreed, and they actually agreed with me. So, Steven Anderson was quite more insightful than I was anticipating him being. I had a lot of fun talking to him, and I said it was actually very sad that he directed Meet the Robinsons and Winnie the Pooh, and he didn't get a bigger turnout. And he was there it was the busy day too. But it was also kind of a more intimate experience, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the next panel did have slightly more. She was a voice actress named Amber Lee Connors. She's worked in quite a few anime. Specifically, I think she's done voices for Crunchyroll, Netflix, all that stuff. I don't don't remember too much from the panel for that one, but I there's a lot of interesting tidbits there. Not a lot really I'd like to share here, but she was the next panel. But the next one afterwards, there are quite a bit of fun tidbits there. Bill Farmer and Brett Iwan was the next panel, which was also a lot of fun. Now, what do you have to? Do you have any? What do you have any questions for Bill Farmer and Brett Iwan for this?
Okay, so you're saying you took in the panel with them, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, is there anything you didn't? Yeah. So wait. So what did you say to Bill Farmer? You didn't say at the table to him at the panel.
Well, here's the thing. Before that, I kind of want to point out something. Said like when it was open to a lot of guests, a lot of the people's questions were either generally directed, which mine was, or just directed towards Bill. Brett only got one specifically for him, which is kind of sad. Like only one person directly asked Brett a question. But my question was like, what was like I kind of expected Bill's answer, but his like, what was the project you took part in that like had the most impact on you? And you can probably guess what Bill's was. His was a Goofy movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're talking about basically talking about how like it didn't get much good reception at the time. You know, all this was discussed in not just a goof, but like how over the years it's now gotten the reception that he feels that it should have had back then.
Did he talk about the hot tub scene?
Like I did mention that as like being like one of the best scenes in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett talked about like the stuff that like he enjoyed. A lot of stuff he's enjoyed was like doing the Christmas episodes and Christmas specials. One that's even coming out on Disney Plus soon. He's had all his. Brett actually. Do you know how Brett got to be the voice of Mickey?
No, actually.
Well, I'm trying to recall the best I can, but like, it's like he wanted to get into this for a while, but he actually got a job doing Hallmark cards.
Ah.
That was his job. And he had a friend who worked at Pixar.
Ah.
Who said they're looking for an understudy for Mickey Mouse. He didn't say who the person who worked at Pixar was.
I had a feeling otherwise I think he would have just said who it is.
Yeah. So he's like, I don't know if it was anyone like notable or it was just somebody who works there.
Let's just say it was Jeff Pigeon and move on.
Well, it was a woman, so.
Okay, let's say it was not Jeff Pigeon and move on.
Yes, it was most likely not Jeff Pigeon.
Yeah. But maybe it was Brett Parker, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know who Brett Parker is.
Well, you know, Kari the babysitter.
Oh, right.
Yeah, who was also an animator. She was remember she did Pearl. Remember Pearl from
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was the same person.
Spark Shorts. I forget if Brett Parker directed that as well. I know she was in it. I think she voiced Pearl, but Brett Parker was in that one.
I didn't actually know that.
I could have sworn that she also directed that, but it's been a while.
It's like, well, either way, she sent Brett an email like saying like they're looking for an understudy for Mickey Mouse because it's like in the late 2000s. Wayne Allwine's not doing so hot and all that, and so he eventually did get the part.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple filling in for a bit things here and there, like do this, do that, until he eventually became the sole successor once Wayne passed.
Yep.
And he's been the voice of Mickey ever since.
All right.
And the thing is that I don't know if it was like during my question or someone else's, but he brought up like things that like didn't actually pan out, or like things that he was confused about. Like one of the things he recorded was like for Disney's California Adventure was Mickey's breakdance party. When he recorded, he was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, but then he went to see it and he was like, "Wait, what?" So yeah, it's like, and it's not there, so that tells you all about that. So yeah. It's like, and if, like some of the other panels, some of the other questions were like guys saying like there should have been, a Mickey, Donald, and Goofy movie by now, which I think we can all agree on would be great, right?
Yeah.
Like a theatrical one, and I even I was seated at the time, but I said that should have been the 100th anniversary movie. I think it was either Bill or Brett that said I agree. It's like they said the Mickey movie should have been the 100th anniversary movie. I mean, what do you think of that?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, you heard what I said, right?
No, I didn't. What was the last part you said?
It's like that the Mickey movie should have been the 100th anniversary movie.
Oh, you're right about that. Yeah.
Like I said, and I think it was Bill that I think it was Bill that said I agree.
Well, yeah, he's right.
Yep. I was like, man, I'm the one who said that. I'm the one who said that the Mickey movie should have been the 100th. I said that should have been the 100th anniversary movie. So yeah. Again, the panels. I mean, I can't remember every single thing that was asked at these panels, but again, those were the big takeaways, and these will be up on the GalaxyCon webpage after this.
Right.
In a couple of days.
Right. Okay, is that a Porco Rosso?
Yes, I saw him on the bottom. I saw him on the third day.
Okay, we'll build to that. All right.
So
your hidden panels. You've what else we doing? You hit your last person this day? That was who we talked about before the panel.
Actually, Brett Iwan was my last one.
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't manage to get to him until the next day, until Sunday.
Yeah. So Saturday is basically your big spender, and you're taking in the panels. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. What did you buy?
Well, I got a buy one get one for statues from an anime I like called Spy Family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, I've heard of it. I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it.
It was great. It's like my favorite anime right now.
Yeah.
It's like guys, you'd really love it. I really think you would. But I got a couple figurines from that. I got some like wooden coasters with some characters etched onto it. I mentioned like during our Howl stream that Howl's Moving Castle stream that I was trying to find a poster for that I'd be on the lookout for it here.
Yeah.
I did not manage to find one.
Well, that's disappointing.
But the thing is, what I did see was Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, and Grave of the Fireflies.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't get any of those. I was like talking about talking to another guy at another poster saying like I was looking for Grave of the Fire, not looking for Grave of the Fireflies, but looking for Howl's Moving Castle, and I mentioned Grave of the Fireflies. That you can probably imagine why I don't want that hanging in my room.
Well, yeah, I mean you'll never get any sleep if you see like dead. It's like children who have been through war.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately the images, the actual poster doesn't show that, But yeah, I want to be reminded of Grave of the Fireflies every time I'm laying down in my bedroom.
Unless you're a masochist, but yeah.
Yeah. So, did I mention Princess Mononoke being one of the posters I saw?
I think so. Yeah, when you listed it with the rest of them.
Yeah. So, like I said, I saw that one again because Mononoke is one of the big ones. But again, no Howl. The next day I did manage to get some artwork of Howl's Moving Castle though, like some fan art of Howl's Moving Castle. So there is that. Yeah, I went around for a couple more panels. And on my way around near Mystery Box Corner, I saw someone wearing a Perry the Platypus onesie.
Nice.
As you can see,
that's serendipitous.
Yep. When I walked around, I saw that like I know I have to get a picture with this guy.
Did you stop him or did he stop you?
I stopped him,
Okay.
but we were both like, ah!
If only there was D. Bradley Baker around, just say, "My boys."
Yep. Well, I remember when I went to when the one with Vincent and David, Vincent Martella and David Arago Jr.
Yeah.
I was like Vincent even said to Phineas' voice, like, "Oh, there you are, Perry." When I walked by when I came to his panel and all
It would be
that.
funny if he said, "Oh my God, it's Irving."
He doesn't know the inside joke we have.
I know, it would have been funny though. One of these years you got to go as dressed as Irving. If you see Jack McBray, you got to cosplay as Irving.
Yep, I wonder if he'd pick up on it.
Yeah, we have comments.
All right. Should I go back all the way or just a couple more recent ones?
Let's just read the ones you want to read, Jacob.
All right. Greg Baldwin's been doing a really good job continuing Mako's legacy. Yes, he has.
These are facts.
Mako is one of the greatest voice actors. Also facts.
Also true.
Yep. He knows Bill Farmer from Space Jam.
Good for you.
Because he voiced I know he voiced Sylvester, Foghorn, and I think Yosemite in that movie, but I don't know. Yosemite Sam?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
But the two I know is like definitely Foghorn and Sylvester. I remember Kai, he was on also known as Butler. And referring to the rabbit in the end, Goldberg and the others suggested bringing Rabbit to life exactly as before. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get him to do the bowler hat guy's voice. Nor did anybody.
See, if I would have asked him about the.
His normal voice isn't actually far off from bowler hat guys.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I would have asked him about he did this thing on the commentary. You would never. I know you wouldn't have asked him, so you have to listen to it, and that's fine. But I'm just saying that in the commentary, they had this gag where the bowler hat guy like hijacked the commentary fritzed out, and it went the bowler hat guy trying to give his life story in the making of the movie, but it kept getting interrupted by the actual main commentary, so it was kind of funny.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, his voice isn't actually too far up. Obviously, more exaggerated and all that, but It's not far off. And he also likes Spy Family. Good taste. All right, so where was I?
Okay, well, you met Perry.
Yes. Oh, yes. Like I said, when I saw that, I was like, I have to said, I have to get a picture with this guy. And I did. Like we were both like kind of it's kind of like that almost like that Spider-Man meme where like they're like pointing at each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't point at each other, but we're both like, yeah. Like Perry doesn't get a lot of representation, and we were two people there wearing Perry. Where's Perry? Pardon the pun.
It would have been really funny if you bought an in-action figure while you were there.
Well, that's actually not far off.
Ooh.
Because we met at a mystery box, a mystery box place.
Nice.
And one of the things they actually had Phineas and Ferb mystery boxes, which is a tangent going to lead to something else in a moment, which you can probably see what it is.
Yeah.
But what happened was like I got a Phineas and Ferb mystery box and a Studio Ghibli box. And what happened with him is that he also got one, and in his box was a plush Perry.
Ooh.
Same as mine. I also got a plush Perry. But I didn't notice.
You'll call it Peregrine.
Yes. I guess I could. if I really wanted to, which I don't. They got a Mako understand, learn his mistake not to insult the man. Yep.
So you got a Perry plush too?
Yes. But I'm beginning to realize that so he's like he got one too, and I walked by and I saw him, so I was like, it must have been fate. But during the convention, they like sometimes how sometimes like they show movies or like screenings of shows and things like that during these things. I took a moment to rest and moment to rest and watch Candace against the. They're showing a version of Candace against the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so. Unfortunately, it was near the end because their timing was all mixed. Their times were all mixed up. The timing on everything was all mixed up.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, so I used that time to open my boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I for the Studio Ghibli one, I got a couple stickers and like a pencil case, like a Totoro pencil case. And for the Phineas and Ferb one, I got stickers and the Perry plushie. Which,
but I'm sorry. Besides the Totoro pencil case, what did you get from the Ghibli box?
I think mainly stickers, and I think I can't remember all the items that I got from there, but it was mostly stickers and the Totoro pencil case.
It wasn't like a big thing in there too.
I mean, I think that pretty much was the big thing in there.
Yeah. Were there pencils in the pencil case?
No, it was only these things were like $20.
Okay, that explains it. Okay.
They weren't like those, like $60 like high end.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's yeah.
Like the one with special packages. It was like this. It was like this kind of like I'm beginning to think these were kind of like bootlegs, kind of.
Well, how big was the Perry plush, and what quality? Did it seem to be of high quality or no?
Those seemed fairly well made enough. I could tell it's bootleg because it doesn't have Disney copyrighted on it.
All right.
But nor did the other item that I got in there. There were Perry stickers also, a lot of stickers. But the other thing I got, which, Dragon, you probably know where I'm leading to this, was a Phineas keychain.
Which is scary beyond all reason.
As you can see over here on the right-hand side. When I saw that, I was like, is that supposed to be Phineas?
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of it is accurate to Phineas at a certain angle, but it's like the worst possible angle you can make a Phineas toy.
But even then, his head's kind of squashed.
Well, yeah.
It's not actually that accurate. But it just doesn't look very good.
Well, look, it doesn't look very good, but I'm just saying, though, it's like, look, squashed as it may, because they have to fit them in the packaging. It's like,
Yeah, it doesn't have the Disney. The Phineas and Ferb logo doesn't have the Disney thing above it, so I know that is definitely bootleg.
It looks it, but again, that's like the design. Again, remember, the design for any Phineas merchandise is, again, he only works at 3/4. Anything else, he's gonna have the weirdest looking nightmare face you've ever seen.
Yep. But when I saw that, I was
it's like seeing Arnold from the side. We never see that shot for a reason.
Because it's basically just ear.
Yeah, it's like Arnold with Stewie, from Family. Their heads disappear at a certain angle. It's this weird floating circle ear thing.
Yep, and I even remember like James like at the convention I got a Phineas and Ferb mystery box, and most of it was good, but and I sent you the picture that had Phineas on it. The Phineas.
Yep.
It's like he's like chubby. It's like he's like fatter than he's supposed to be. His head is all squished out of shape. His eyes are weird. It was bizarre to say the least. Yeah. Oh god. But that was basically my last. I basically went home after that one. None of the other panels I wanted to see. There are no other panels I wanted to see that day. So I went home at around 5:00. Although, fun fact, I do have a funny anecdote to share about me going to the Avatar: The Last Airbender one that I just remembered.
Yeah.
Before the Avatar panel, there was this panel from Aqua Teen Hunger Force with Dana Snyder and Andy Merrill. They were there for that, and a lot of people entered near the end, and they were like, and some of them were like, "Who's here for Avatar: The Last Airbender?" And a lot of people raised their hand. They're like, "Well, get out." They were kidding, obviously. I don't know. I just remembered that. One thing I do remember though, on my day out, on my time out on the second day, on my way out, I saw the couple down in the lower right-hand corner wearing Jafar and Yzma costumes.
I did notice that. Yes, the Yzma costume stuck out to me.
Yep, and Jafar. And the interesting thing about that is that it led to this interaction from someone else after I stopped to take their picture. And one guy, leading to dad, came up with a dad joke. It was like, I recognized you I saw you from Jafar. and the Jafar guy says to the person, it was very Yzma to spot.
Ha!
Yep.
His dad should have gotten a medal.
Yep. Yep. And while I was walking around the artist alley portion of that, one of the person with a inflatable dice game, even they did the whole a platypus, bury the platypus when I took off my hat. I actually got quite a few of those when I did that. It was nice. But that pretty much concludes my second day at the convention.
All right,
actually,
bring it on home. Yep.
Actually, I did forget to bring up a minor footnote for how I began that day. During the second day, yeah, you know how I mentioned I have to take a bus to get down there. It's straight down, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happened was 14th was also the Pride Parade in my town.
Oh.
And a long stretch of the road I had to go down was blocked off. So I had to walk about 20 minutes to get to the convention center. I was dropped off at a random spot down the way and had to walk.
That's not good.
No.
Fortunately, you don't do a lot of walking, too.
I mean, I do a lot of walking during my job.
Well, in the convention, but I mean, wait, do you actually walk otherwise?
My job is pushing carts now. Pushing and pulling carts now. So I actually have quite a bit more. I walk quite a bit more now than I used to.
Well, I mean, look, I know it's you're moving, but I mean, walking, I'm saying from a distance, you don't go hiking or anything, right?
No. Fortunately, the street is mostly level.
Okay, good.
But it was
were you scared?
Yeah, not really. I mean, it wasn't really too worried. There were people nearby.
I mean, did you at least have other people walking to the convention?
Yes.
All right.
So.
All right, day 3.
Yes. Considering again didn't get to see the reason I didn't see Brett Iwan the first day was because I was contemplating bringing my copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 for him to sign, it's a deluxe copy, and I was like, okay, I'll bring it tomorrow. But then I was like, but thinking about it, I was like, if I bring that there, I'll also want Bill Farmer to sign it, but I've already got him, and I've already spent enough money as it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if both of them come next year, I'll have him sign it then. But I decided that after I left. So Sunday, I did get to see Brett Iwan. But the funny thing is, he wasn't there for the first hour or so. But I waited the entire time, and while I was there, I talked to Bill Farmer. I actually had almost a very long one-on-one with Bill Farmer. We talked about a lot of neat things. I didn't know he was an Iron Giant for one. He did background voices in Iron Giant.
Was there Bill Farmer did background voices in Iron Giant?
Yeah. He did.
Yeah, I guess that tracks, yeah.
Like I said, I didn't know that.
Well, that's the thing, Jake. I mean, you look at the credits in every movie; they always have the additional voices, which are always voice kind of voice talent that we recognize, but they just don't get the glory. But I mean, they're there. Stands a reason Bill Farmer, he would be amongst his peers in that regard. It tracks. That's solid.
The funny thing, I just remembered something else. Someone did ask him what it was like being the voice of Gaston swallowing eggs. So he says he really does sound effects, but so that's one of the few times he actually did that. So yeah.
Go suck an egg, Bill.
Oh yeah. even Bill. Yep, that's what. Yeah, yep. Coincidentally, I just brought that up. Jinx. Yep. I was like, so I didn't know that. He also showed that he was actually in RoboCop. He was in the first RoboCop.
Farmer was in the first RoboCop.
Yep. I don't think he had a big part, but it was it was before he voiced Goofy. And what happened was like he remembered like poor Peter Weller, like it was like late at night in Austin where they were filming, and it was incredibly hot.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, Bill Farmer. He was, I think he was one of the news guys.
Yep, it's like he remembers like them after each take, like blasting air of Peter Weller's suit to cool him off.
Yeah,
because Peter Weller was obviously entrapped in this big metal suit.
I've told you about RoboDoc, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet though.
By the way, did you watch RoboDoc? I told you, like Zaslav's, he's nixing it, so you got to watch it this month.
I haven't watched it yet, but I will. But I'll get to it.
I don't even know. I should check and see if it's even still there.
All right. So yeah, I didn't know. I didn't actually. So I knew about the RoboCop from like a previous panel. From a previous time I saw it on there, and I saw it on his desk.
Okay, RoboCop's there, including the director's cut. But again, Jacob, it's not long for this world. But even you should watch the director's cut while they still have it.
All right, so director's cut, got it.
Well, yeah, mind you, it's a very negligible difference. Just like you see, like a little more violence. It's about it, but still, it's worth watching.
Well, it's Paul Verhoeven. What do you expect?
Oh yeah.
It's like I even kind of asked him what it was like working with Paul Verhoeven, but he did say it was kind of interesting. He didn't really know much about him beyond that point, and like that was when Paul Verhoeven before Paul Verhoeven became like the big name that he did. It's like so, but he even says he remembers visiting Peter Weller years later, like asking if he remembered him and like what it was like being in that suit, and Peter Weller simply said hot. Said it was hot.
That's accurate.
Yep. He mentioned this during the panel, but he also explained to me, like, do you know the show Amphibia?
Yeah.
He voiced Hop Pop in that.
Okay.
Like, he even said like he enjoyed that because that's one of the few times he actually came up with the voice for a character instead of inheriting a legacy character. Like Goofy, the Sylvester, and all that. So he's actually able to craft the voice himself, which he had a lot of fun doing. So, and well, another neat thing that happened was like when he was talking to somebody else about him working on the 7D. It's like I showed him my Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs cell that I have, and he was really impressed by it. And he even said that he even showed me like this thing in L.A. where they like do restorations, and like he mentioned that Steven Spielberg like owns a couple film sets from Snow White, and they were restoring the cells there. So I can say that I'm in this somewhat in the same boat of the degree of separation with Steven Spielberg when it comes to collector's items.
I guess you can.
Yep, like he owns obviously his collection is much more impressive than mine. He has Snow White. He has like Snow White, Pinocchio.
He also made E.T., so it's nothing to sneeze at.
Well, yeah, and Jurassic Park,
and
Schindler's List.
A little indie film Schindler's List,
But he used like Jurassic Park and Schindler's List as like a thesis for like a film class. You've heard that story?
Well, no, I didn't hear like he uses like a thesis for a film class, but I know like those are like the two big kind of movies of that year, and
it's like I don't know how it might be an apocryphal story for all I know, but like apparently he was like doing like a film class or whatever, and after like during that, and he submitted Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, which it's like of course got him good grades. Directing only like two of the biggest movies of all time.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep. And also Raiders of the Lost Ark, of course.
All right,
Thing is,
okay. We know Spielberg's great. What else?
but the thing is, the funny thing is, I'm bringing that up for a reason because like I remembered something else that happened during the Stephen J. Anderson panel.
Yeah.
He mentioned that talking about like Star Wars, he brought up Star Wars and how he was always more of an indie guy. But I kind of like brought pointed to my fedora. It's like yeah, like that.
Mm.
Like my fedora was obviously not representative of indie, but I still had the fedora.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so. Bill and I had like, and then that's where I asked him about his shirt. He's like, he told me about Roosevelt's, and I checked their collection just earlier today, and they do have a pretty neat Goofy movie collection.
They do. The one that really grabs me is there's the one with like all the items from the Goofy movie, which includes like everything we've ever talked. It includes the breakfast, includes the melty pizza, the Leaning Tower of Cheese, the map, all of that. I love that one.
Well, the second day, is like the picture I'm showing you right on this right here is like the Powerline shirt, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The second day he was wearing this flannel. This is like this flannel shirt that had a big Goofy on the back.
Yeah.
And on the third day, he was wearing one with like Goofy movie sketches on it. I think.
Oh yeah, that's a Roosevelt's, and that looks really good, by the way. Yeah.
I was like, I even asked him like, where do you get those shirts? And he's like, thing called Roosevelt's.
Well, you could have asked me that, Jacob. I would have told you where he's got his shirts from.
Well, I didn't know you knew that.
Oh yeah, my customer, man.
Like, he's apparently gets them for free according to him.
I know. I'm envious.
Yep. He's like they sent it to me and like you want to wear it? He's like, sure. Like trust me, Bill was such a nice guy. Was such a great guy to talk to.
By the way, they added some Avatar shirts recently at Roosevelt's.
What, Airbender Avatar?
Yeah, I mean they already had some. They had some brand new ones. I want to say for the anniversary because the whole it's 20 years.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm sure he probably talked about more, but that's pretty much all I can remember right now. But Bill was such a great guy to talk to. Like he even showed me, during he's like showing me pictures, like some things that he has. He even showed me a picture of his dog. Because he was talking about like pointing to doing like a dog's life for Disney Plus.
Mm.
He showed me a picture of his own dog. I even was like, what's his name? His name's Skipper. Like he said he always he does like I think he might have been talking to somebody else, but he mentioned that whenever Bill gets out his suitcase, I think that the dog gets all sad because he knows he's gonna leave, which is sad, which is kind of sad.
Oh yeah.
But while I was like the entire time I was talking to him, I was waiting for Brett Island to show up, and for a while I didn't even notice that while I was talking, Brett had showed up, and there were people in line already. And so I did manage to get in line, and it's not pulled up here because I didn't want to cause any confusion. But behind me, there was a guy with this like huge printout of the final shot of Once Upon a Studio.
Ooh.
Like a poster that they made or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it had like dozens of voice actors printed on autographs on it, like dozens, like David Tennant's, Rob Paulson's, among others, all signing on it. It's like I have a picture of it, and I'll probably send it to you later in a group chat, in our chat.
Right.
But it was awesome. The strange thing is, though, he brought it to Brett Iowan, and Brett wasn't in that. It wasn't even in that. But he probably did. But he probably just wanted Mickey's voice anyway. Because I don't know if Chris Diamantopoulos does cons. But who knows? Maybe he'll get both Mickeys to sign it. What do you think?
I mean, ideally you want to go with the Mickey that's it's in the shorts. I mean,
Well, to be fair, he was getting it for his sister and all that. His sister got all the stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is with him, they said David Tennant wasn't in that either. It was Alan Young's archival recording, but he thought it was cool either way.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's just I don't know. It's like I try to get the people that actually had something to do with it actually sign it. But that's not to say there aren't exceptions. You know, like I have Stan Lee comics that he didn't actually write that he signed.
It's like, and well, to be fair, you also can't get Alan Young's autograph anymore.
Well, yeah. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Unless you have a time machine. You know.
The funny thing is, he was in a movie called The Time Machine.
Well, yeah.
So, unfortunately, time machines don't exist. But yeah, it was really freaking cool. Now the thing is that I got. Now I mentioned that Brett Iwan was actually an illustrator, and you can see like the thing that I have him signed here, that Sorcerer Mickey painting.
Mm-hmm.
He actually painted that himself.
Oh.
Yep. That's like he had like a smaller glossy of that, but that's more like a printing with a frame that's like the Disney 100 like D23 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like higher quality print, kind of framed already and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody had gotten it. I was the first one to buy one of those.
Nice.
And he signed it, and he signed that for me. Like, you know, like he signed like to Jacob, you're from your pals, Brett Iwan and Mickey.
Cool.
Yep. And what's fun, and as you can tell, you see how like behind him, Mickey's ears are kind of sticking out of his head.
Yeah.
That was entirely on accident.
Oh.
Yep. The way it was positioned.
Oh, there's your hidden Mickey.
Yep. Using the actual Mickey. So yeah. Using the like, I even showed him, and he kind of got a little kick out of that. And I actually took the picture of the guy holding the Once Upon a Studio. Like, he handed me his phone, and I took the picture of him and Brett.
Nice.
And I actually also coincidentally got and I think he was also the one who took my picture. And he also got the ears. He also got the ears in his too.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that was big. That was the big one. I was only there for a couple more hours, and after that. I walked around, inspecting some more of the cosplays, and doing some more shopping, getting some last minute items that are and all that. Seeing if any of the ones I wanted were, on sale or going to be on clearance or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even the whole trying not to lug it back with them.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the ones I really wanted to look for was already bought. So unfortunately, I didn't get it. But one of the more notable ones I saw cosplays was Porco Rosso.
That's so cool to me that if you had a Porco.
Yep, I was like, "Ooh, Porco Rosso." It's like, yeah, but even it's hard to tell with this. Hard to tell with the tie being in the way, but he's actually doing the thumbs up too.
Yeah, no, I see it.
Yep. I still have yet to see Porco Rosso. It's like the only one from Miyazaki last year I have not actually watched.
That's just justice for you, where the guy who doesn't see Porco Rosso actually gets to meet a Porco Rosso.
Yep, I know. I did see a Kiki though. Actually, I think I saw like 2 Kikis.
I have met a Kiki at a con myself.
Like I said, I don't think I saw any of the others from any of the other Ghibli movies. So, but I did see like a couple Kikis, and I did see Porco Rosso. So there is that. I didn't get any pictures of the Kikis though. Also got another statue. Another figurine.
Mm-hmm.
This one from Cardcaptor Sakura. It's a magical girl anime.
All right.
I also got some. As I mentioned earlier, I couldn't find the poster. I couldn't find the poster for Howl's Moving Castle, but I got some pretty neat artwork out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah. So you got other Ghibli artwork, right?
That's the only Ghibli artwork I own.
Oh,
I don't have any other Ghibli artwork.
so
Just
yeah.
just that fan art of Howl.
Okay.
Of the mainly of the castle. I think you can see old Sophie and maybe Howl in there too.
All right.
Porco Road will be my first Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film I'll ever watch. All right.
No.
My first was Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I think my first one was Spirited Away, and then Kiki's Delivery Service.
Right.
So.
All right.
And so.
Is there anything you didn't get to do while you were there that you were a little bummed out about?
Well, I missed it. Like, there's this thing called that was gonna be like Disney villain sing along that I missed because I was waiting on Brett Iwan.
Did you tell Brett Iwan what you were missing out on?
No. And really, that was pretty much the only thing I kind of wanted to do that I missed, but I wasn't too that bummed out about it. If that makes sense.
It was a banner con for you overall. You got pretty much all the important stuff done with relative ease.
Yeah. I pretty much saw all the people I wanted to see, went all the panels I wanted to. Pretty much got a lot of merch that I wanted, except for the House Moving Castle poster.
Well, again, there's always next time. There's always your next convention.
There's also eBay.
Well, yeah, there's that too. You know.
Yep. I wanted to see if I could get it at the con, but unfortunately, that was a lost cause.
Just look intently on eBay.
Yeah. I've already found some on eBay that kind of work. I'm just contemplating whether or not to get one with the Japanese text or just the plain one without the text. I'm thinking I'm gonna get one with the text on it.
Okay.
But yeah, that pretty much rounds it out.
All right. Well, I think Jacob had a really good time at the Animate.
I did. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Got a lot of accomplishment, a lot of pillars in the animation industry that we've known, we've appreciated, and we've discussed here this fine evening. So, I want to thank the folks for tuning in, and listening to Jacob ramble on, and tell us about what he did.
Yep.
Code Geass. Yep.
That's what Code Geass did.
Yeah.
But just continue what you were saying.
Thanks. We got Code Geass anime fan. We got Little Blue. We got. Well, that's pretty much it. But I'm sure other people will check in on things. But so we had some watchers. Thanks for tuning in, listening, and giving a crap about what we had to say.
So, Dragon, what are your thoughts on all this?
I wish it were me.
I mean, specifically regarding Gray Delisle, though, probably.
Well, I'm going to quote Yu-Gi-Oh on this one. It should have been me. And I quote a little Dan Green from the Seal of Orichalco season. Should have been me.
Yeah. Funny enough, Dan Green did come to one of these conventions.
There you go.
So maybe if I see him, I could get something assigned to you saying, "It should have been me."
Yeah. Well, look, it's it's still one of my dreams to meet Gray Delisle. Has not come true. I met Tara Strong. So that's a close second.
But, the thing is, Tara Strong has come to my convention, but I wasn't able to get to her because her lines were so long, and one of the days she wasn't there at all. But I'm kind of counting on her coming back. But I do plan on meeting her one of these days. One of the years I was going to go to that she can't. I told you about this. One of the years that she was planning to go, she canceled. It was 2022, and you can probably understand why she canceled.
Yeah.
Which I probably don't need to explain because I would bring the whole thing down if I did.
No. Just she was busy.
Yes, she was busy.
Anyway.
So yeah, Dragon wishes he was there.
Yep.
So,
very envious.
Very envious indeed.
I'm jade with envy.
Not just green, jade.
Yes.
And that means you're extra jealous.
Oh my God, yes, yes. Just if I get her and Tom Cavanaugh, that's my bucket list right there. Like, please.
Well, Tom Cavanaugh wasn't there, and for the one in December, he's currently not confirmed either. But I'll let you know if he is.
Yep.
Does he do cons?
Yeah, I mean he does conventions, just not the ones near me, unfortunately. But he does conventions.
Apparently not near me either.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Hmm.
But I'll let you know if he ever does come to me.
Well, I'm sure he'll get to you first. I'm sure.
I guess
No,
it helps.
you get everyone else. Just the little prince over here. He gets everyone. It's everyone he wants.
Hey, I can't help it that I kind of lucked out with these. Dre and I can say I've met Mickey and Goofy. I mean, Mickey and Goofy. I just need to get Tony and Selma to show up, and I could have met the whole trio.
I just get the killers.
Well, the thing is, the GalaxyCon has this thing called Nightmare Weekend, which is in Cleveland.
It just never ends. It never ends.
And there's a lot of the horror. Like, I think Kane Hodder's going to be there this year.
Him I've met.
It's like, I'm not going to go into the whole list because I don't have it pulled up, and I'm sure Dragon doesn't want me to list off.
No, I don't want him to list.
But Dragon, I'm not going to go to it because Cleveland's like 2 hours away from where I live, and I'm not going to go to it anyway.
Yeah.
But I do know that Kane Hodder's going to be there.
Yep.
All right, so I think 2 hours. I think that's long enough.
Yep.
So thank you, Dragon, for hosting me, basically.
Yeah, you're welcome. Someone has to keep your ego in check.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So and thank you, Code Geass and Little Blue, for being in the audience while I talk.
Yep.
So maybe who knows? Maybe in December something weird will happen.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I probably if he's the only one I meet, I won't make a stream about it.
Right.
I will say like, hey, look, I met Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al.
Yes.
But you're supposed to be dead.
Yeah. So thank you all again for tuning in, and see you next time.
Yep.
Stay animated.
What a map.
The map.